Hello, happy Wednesday, and welcome to the next in our Recreational F&I Success webinar series. I'm Merle Shaw, COO of Dealer Profit Services. I'm happy you're able to join us for this session. Today, we're going to be talking about protective products and how they truly are the key to your profit. And I love talking about this area because it really does help us focus on the fact that what we're doing with all of our F&I efforts is truly enabling the lifestyle. And these protective products are about protecting that lifestyle that we're enabling. So without further ado, we'll start as always with our thought for the day, a reminder of what F&I success looks like. A few comments on protective products, what they are, why they matter, and the process for selling them. We have a fantastic interview today with Paul Shelton from Protective Asset Protection, true expert on this. We'll have a takeaway, a couple of questions, some final thoughts, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Now, a couple of updates for everyone. For anyone seeing or hearing this that will be attending the RV Dealer Association virtual conference, we will have a booth there, and all of our recorded webinars are recorded and they're available. All of them will be available directly as viewable from our virtual booth. If you are attending the MRAA Dealer Week, we have a virtual booth there as well. The interview that we did with David Parker, which I thought was just excellent, full of content and great thoughts, is available directly in our booth, and access to the other webinars instructions will be there. And we'll also be providing links at the Boating Industry Elevate Summit, where we also have a virtual booth. So there's lots of opportunities to catch up with these. Again, as always, feel free. There's an opportunity to type in questions as they occur to you, and when we get to the Q&A section, we'll try to cover them as time permits. So, as with many things, but certainly with protective products, there's a tripod of success. Products are critical. You have to have products that you believe in. You have to have products that add value, that truly work. But given that you do that, you need to have people representing and presenting these products who are excited about them. They're excited about the value, and they're excited about what they do to ensure and protect the lifestyle that we're so happy to enable for our customers. And then there needs to be a consistent process so that your customers hear about these products in a reliable, consistent way, and they have an opportunity to truly understand just how beneficial they will be. So as we've talked about, F&I success, what is it? Well, the most important thing is continual improvement. So more profit tomorrow than what you achieved today. And as you start to achieve your goals, move the goalposts and keep growing. But at the start, at a minimum, you should be looking at 8% or more F&I gross profit on your amount financed. You should be looking at 4% or more F&I net profit on your unit sales. You should be looking at 65% plus penetration on protective products. And frankly, that's kind of a low target. And I think I can paraphrase Michelangelo, and I think I may be stealing this from our interview, but that's okay. The only thing worse than setting targets that are too high and not reaching them is setting targets that are too low and achieving them. So again, move the goalposts as soon as you hit any of these targets. And finally, 100% turnover, which means every customer is seen by your finance manager, your business manager, your delivery coordinator 100% of the time, whether they say they're paying cash, whether they say they're financing. 100% of your customers go to finance 100% of the time, and they are presented with the full roster of available relevant protective products every single time. So when we talk about protective products, what exactly are they? Well, clearly, they're the engine and other manufacturer warranties. And whether they're manufacturer warranties or they're third-party warranties on the engines. They're accessory warranties. These protect gauges and speakers and depth finders and all the extra toys and gadgets that may be on your unit. Interior exterior protection is big. It protects against rips and tears so that they can be repaired or replaced to new. It protects against stains and spills so that when you have that party and somebody drops the red wine on the carpet and you can't quite get it out, you can get it taken care of. Yellowing, chalking, inside and out, this is a great product for ensuring that your unit looks as new however long you've had it. Tire and wheel or tire and road hazard, these protect the vehicles, the tow vehicles, the trailers. The simple question to ask someone if they're buying a boat and they're going to be trailering it around. So, do you carry a trailer jack? Well, most people don't. And this protection means that somebody's going to come out to you, they're going to take care of the problem, and you're going to be on your way. There's theft protection, there's glass etching, there's GPS products, and there's more. But these are the kind of products that give people peace of mind, that protect the lifestyle. Why do I think that protective products are so important to the profit potential? Well, unlike reserve is entirely predictable and essentially out of your control. Now, you certainly have the ability to undersell reserve, which is not something I would ever recommend doing, but you can't extend it. The reserve is capped at whatever the lender rules are, based on the interest rate, based on the credit profile of the customer, but you don't control what your maximum profit on reserve can be. The lender controls your maximum profit on reserve. On protective products, your profit is completely under your control. Your penetration rate will certainly affect your profit. The higher your penetration rate, unless you're selling for cost, which is not a good idea, your penetration rate will improve your profit. Selecting the right products. There are certain products that carry extremely nice profits and some that don't do quite as well. And then there's profit in the way you can bundle up these products and sell 2 or 3 or 4 and pile those profits one on top of the other. That profit is completely under your control, and the protective products are what make the difference in achieving your F&I profit numbers. So what about the process? Once a customer is talking to you and they're starting to look at your units, the process of selling these protective products starts early. Everyone in the store, everyone that people talk to, your customers talk to, has to be enthusiastic and excited and committed to presenting products, helping people understand their value, seeing what they can do for them, and They must believe in the value of the product themselves. I know someone once said, when you can fake sincerity, you've got it all. Well, that doesn't work with selling and presenting these protective products. People have to innately believe that having that extended engine warranty, having that accessory protection, protecting your unit from wear and tear with that interior exterior protection. Gap. What about gap? Anybody who's putting down less than 10% should, or 20%, should be getting a gap policy to protect them in case of total loss. That's a natural. So make sure that you've got brochures that are highly visible. Make sure that you've got examples laying around. Take a tire and a bent rim and lay it just out on the floor and put a sign on it that says, "Has this ever happened to you?" That's a great opening for your tire and wheel protection. You can get from the suppliers, or you can just go on Amazon and get fake spilled products of all kinds. Fake spilled Coke, fake spilled coffee, fake spilled wine, fake spilled fingernail polish. Put those in all your units. They look pretty real, and you'd be amazed at the number of conversations that start, because the first impression somebody gets when they see it is, "Oh, look what happened." Use those examples. Now, you need to help your sales team know how to handle these protective products. First of all, they can't talk prices about the protective products for two reasons. One is you don't talk prices, you talk payments. And until you know what the rates are that someone's going to get, the salesperson has no insight into what that payment could be. Secondly, they don't know what the bundle of products might be, and you may adjust your pricing based on the bundle. So when they're asked the question about pricing, the answer is simple. I just don't have those rate sheets, but I'll make sure that our business manager goes over all this with you. The other thing that you need to equip your salesperson with are stories. Don't have them memorize feature and function lists about these products. Help them with stories. Somebody says they see a sign about gap that you've put up, and somebody says, "Gap, why would that be important?" "Oh man, you wouldn't believe it. We had somebody in here, and it was just a couple of months ago. They'd only had their boat about 10 days. And wouldn't you believe it? Some drunken boater ran into it, totaled it. They'd only put 10% down. They would have been underwater by so much on their loan. But they'd had the foresight to get gap, and gap covered that difference between what the value of the boat was and what the amount was that was owed on that loan. It saved the day. They were able to get their boat replaced, and they were back on the water, essentially no harm, no foul. Made all the difference. Have stories about a rip that got fixed and how it saved a marriage besides saving the unit. Have a story about a breakdown where somebody was picked up. They got towed, they got the repair done, and they were back enjoying their lifestyle. Sell with stories. That's what makes these visceral to the customer, and it makes all the difference. And then, again, 100% turnover. I don't care if the customer comes in saying, "I'm paying cash." I frankly don't care if they pull out a big wad of $100 bills on the sales floor. There's no cash exchange, no checks exchanged. Nothing happens on the sales floor. Everyone has to see the business manager. And the business manager will try to convert them to finance. And more importantly, both from a legal protection point of view, but from a profit point of view, your business manager will present all of the protective products, help customers understand their value, and execute with that customer an optional protective product disclosure that shows what products the customers saw, what products they accepted, what products they declined, and the very act of executing that may engender a second round of conversation about some of these products. And then you file that away. You know that you've done the best you can for your customer. And if the customer comes back and says, "You never told me about XYZ," you've got the proof right there. It's not complicated, but it's enthusiastic, it's consistent, it's story-based, it's 100% of the time, all your customers get it. So now, without further ado, let me share with you the conversation that I had with Paul Shelton, who is a real expert. Perhaps. Well, I'm really excited to have Paul Shelton, the Regional Vice President for Protective Asset Protection, who works with RV, marine, and power sports dealers, with us today as our expert on protective products. He's got a wealth of knowledge and significant experience, having started in retail and been recruited into finance and insurance. And I'm going to let Paul talk a little bit more about his background because it's really quite impressive, and it's really an honor to have him with us. Paul, thanks very much for giving us a few minutes of your time today.
Bill, thanks a lot. What a great introduction, and I appreciate being able to partner with you in this. And you're right, I've been doing this for a little while. I think specifically in recreational products since about 2000, and it's hard to believe that actually has been 20 years. So, yeah, so like I just finished doing another workshop with the RVDA. Had the privilege of doing that for many years now, and then with marine, I do a lot of work with the MRAA. I've done work with other manufacturers, and of course, the main thing that I do is I work with dealers around the country and helping them to improve their F&I results in the store, right, and to help boat owners or RV owners take advantage of things like service contracts that help protect and enhance their ownership experience for years to come. So it really is it's a lot of fun. I love this business. I guess before 2000, I was in the auto world. I did a lot of training with, I was an independent trainer. So I worked with Toyota was a client of mine for 10 years, and F&I, customer service. And so bringing some of all of that knowledge and then kind of retooling it in a sense for recreational product, because it is different. We're not buying cars, we're buying toys, and it's really a lot of fun that way, right? So our customers are happy, we should be happy, and we should make sure that we do everything that we can to make them repeat buyers, like, RV, be in the RV space and become a lifetime RVer, be a boater, not just own a boat. Well, I had a boat once, but become a boater and have multiple boats. So yeah, we help with that. So. That's great. What you just said is really interesting, because I actually spend a lot of time talking about the fact that this really is not automotive, and that a lot of the bad habits and the fears that people have come because they've had bad experience in automotive. And what we're doing, and especially with protective products, we're all about promoting and sustaining a lifestyle. We're not doing something because people have to have it. They're doing it because it's a lifestyle that they want to do. And all of these protective products are truly designed just to enable them to have that lifestyle worry-free. So we talk about that. But so let's start out, and this is kind of an open-ended question to start with. As you know, dealers, marine and RV dealers, vary pretty widely in their success in selling F&I protective products. Why do you think that is? And what are the most common kind of flaws that you see
that inhibit the success of some of these dealers?
Yeah, it's a really good question because we do see kind of all over the map. And, in the brief time that we have together, I would kind of narrow it down into three different buckets, right? We have people. And with the people, you've got to be convinced that the products that we're selling are really a high value product for their customer. And I have this attitude that I never want my customer to leave the store without a service contract. I don't want them to go out on an RV on a trip and not have the protection that's offered with the products that we sell. And the same with a boat. Everything anymore is pretty expensive to repair, and I hope that they never have to use it. I just want to make sure they're covered if they do. And so the people having a kind of a passion for the products and really believing in what they sell. And so the other is, so we got people and we have product, right? So having the right product, and like our FPC marine product, we've been doing this 40 years, and it's very specific to the marine business. So we understand the boat buyer. We understand a fisherman is going to add on really cool upgraded fishing products to his boat, right? He's going to put on shallow water anchors. We don't want to fish anymore, so we put on a 360-degree HD camera underneath our boat so we can figure out where the fish are. Well, that's an upgrade from maybe a stock $300 fish finder to maybe $3,500 for the really, cool one, and then another $2,000 to $4,000 on the shallow water anchor. So we start seeing a lot of upgrades, and we want to make sure that with all of the tech and all of the technology and just the equipment that's being put on these boats now, that a boat owner doesn't have to worry about that. And so we have products that are very specific to the use of the boat, whether it's a ski boat or a fish boat. Those types of things really make a difference. And then, of course, covering the powertrain, the tires, the wheels, even the towing vehicle, those type of things. So we want to be very comprehensive and have aggressive, robust benefits. So people, product, and then the final thing, and I think I would say most important, is the process in the dealership. We have to get our customers involved with hearing about, understanding a little bit about these F&I products. And I think COVID has actually helped accelerate this a little bit. For years, like in the auto business, it was make the decision to buy the car and then go see the F&I person. And we've carried that over a little bit into RV and marine. And it doesn't really belong here. And so I've been working really hard to get it out. I want to get our finance manager out of the office, talking to the customer as soon as they say yes, that they're going to buy the unit, and start to have a conversation so they're not a stranger and they realize this person's actually trying to help them. And this package of products that they're going to offer me are really advantageous for me to take advantage of and, fit them into the payment, or even, write a check for, because I can spend today's dollars and not have to worry about inflationary costs for the next 6 or 7 years. So those three things I think are very key: the people, the products, and then certainly the process in the store.
And do you see, is it a breakdown kind of equally across all three, or is there one of those where if the dealers are not being as successful as they'd like, is there one of those that contributes more than others?
If I had to pick one, I would pick process, because it actually starts to include all of those other two elements. And when I go into a store and do training in the dealership, I do something that I continue to really not believe is still unique, but it is. I will get ownership, management, salespeople, service people, and F&I people together in the same room and have a meeting with all of them together. And apparently, that doesn't happen very often. The reason I want to do that is I want everyone in the dealership to understand the value of a service contract, not just for the customer, but for each of them, each of their departments. Like, give you an example. If I'm selling a boat and I sell a pre-owned boat on a Tuesday afternoon, and a week from Saturday, they go out on the lake and all of a sudden their motor doesn't work. I'm going to get a phone call as a sales guy that I don't want to get, because it's not going to be the boat they bought. It's now the boat you sold me. and so, but if they have the protection, of a service agreement, then the phone call is a lot different. Thank you so much for calling. Let me get you connected to the 800 number, and they're going to take care of that for you and make sure that they get the boat back in here. We can get it fixed and get you back out on the water. Is a whole different call than I'm sorry your boat broke, the one I just sold you. So I really want to help everyone in the store understand it, so that it actually becomes a value add across the dealership. Years ago I wrote a seminar called High Value Selling, and the idea is, we're talking about customer experience now. Well, we used to call it customer service, and I like experience better because we really want to enhance ownership experience, and this helps to do that. So so I really lean there. I want the whole store excited and bought in on the value of the products that we sell in finance. So.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We talk a lot in our sessions sometimes about process, and that process is just so critical in making sure that everything is working together.
It really is.
So, as you know, or the retail pricing on protected products, except in Florida, is a little kind of Wild Westish in the sense that they're not fixed retail prices, and there are I think strategies around setting prices based on bundles of products and other factors that come into it. What are your thoughts, suggestions, ideas on pricing strategies for putting together protected product packages?
I think you're right. We have to just think of it as a retail product, right? Because you're going to have the same boat in Nebraska that you sell in Idaho, and the wholesale cost was the same, but the retail of those two boats might be very different. And so when I'm packaging products together, I'm thinking of it as a retail sale. I started in retail when I was in college a long time ago, and I've always understood that we want to package products together in a way that customers feel like they're getting great value. So I'm going to structure my pricing in my margins so that if a customer is buying 3 products, they're going to pay one price. If they're buying 2 or they're buying 1, right? I'm going to be able to give them some kind of I would say justifiable discount, right? I don't want to ever just drop a price, because that tells me or tells the customer that, well, it wasn't really worth that much, and now we're starting to play that used car game. And if I change a price, I'm going to change a term. I will change a deductible, or drop coverage, that kind of thing, so that it makes sense. And so I will, when I come with my first package, of course, I'm gonna price it well, and if I need to adjust it, I'm always going to have a reason in trying to fit a budget. And we're going to have a conversation about dollars and value, and it's almost always it's about, well, that costs too much, and cost too much is kind of an objection that's really based on not understanding the value, because we pay money for things that other people might think is a little bit crazy. Like, if you look behind me, I'm an avid fly fisherman. You can buy a fly rod for $40. You can buy a fly rod for $1,000. Both of them are going to catch fish, and but if you spend $1,000 on a fly rod, some people are going to think you're crazy. So anyway, we want to create value in the products to justify the pricing. In terms of margins, they are very different, and some will take their net cost and double it. Others will take and add a flat fee, a flat markup, $1,000, $1,500. So it kind of goes like that. But however we structure the underlying gross is I want to make sure that I can not only justify the price that I'm charging, but anytime that I make adjustments, I have to be able to make that make sense too. So.
Yeah, I think that point is really, really important. I mean, you don't, we talk to people all the time about not putting themselves in the position where they're adjusting the price for no justifiable reason except that the customer's negotiated.
Yeah, that's not good. It really isn't good at all to do that. We really have to have a reason.
Exactly.
I think so. Yeah.
So that you actually kind of led into something that we focused on a couple of sessions ago, which has to do with setting goals and targets. And, we talk about a couple of things a lot. One is the F&I percent of profit on the amount financed and on unit sales overall. And narrowing that a little bit to the protective product range, there's actually two parts to this. One is, do you have some kind of thoughts or guidelines about what that percentage should be? What percent of profit should protective products be contributing? Which is tied also to what are your thoughts about targets for penetration rates for selling protective products?
Yeah. So when you're talking about the percentage contribution to the overall profit, I've heard anywhere from 5% to 10% to whatever, right? So, and I think that that's a good marker to determine in the store and then work to grow it. The reason I don't tend to come with a hard number for this reason: boat costs, boat dealerships are very different. If I'm I may sell an average boat that my average cost is, or retail is $30,000. But somebody down the street might have an average that's $80,000. And so if we're both selling 200 boats, 300 boats, my gross profit number is going to be very different. And so, trying to tie that number to a fixed number is a little more challenging. So I'm happy with it as a benchmark, right? So, hey, maybe I'm at 4%. Cool, let's get to 5. If I'm at 9, let's get to 10. And so those incremental steps along the way. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah. And what about the thoughts on penetration rates, targets for penetration?
So this is an idea where people think I'm a little crazy, just so you know. A guy named Michelangelo, he had a quote, and he said, "It's generally not a problem. The problem isn't that we set our goals too high and miss them, but set them too low and hit them." And I see penetrations around the country that I want to say we settled for. And I've watched this over the years where we used to have a really high percentage of sales penetration on service contracts, and it may be as much as 40% less now. And we do things like blame factory warranties, and there's always reasons. But I have this idea that why not 80? Why not 80%? Why would I want any of my customers to leave without a service contract? And when I look at that, everybody has a bell curve, right? Our bell curve in service contracts is 10% of the people will buy anything you put in front of them, and 10% will buy nothing that you put in front of them. And then we make our money in the 80, right? That's our goal. And so if we're at 40, we want to get to 45 and get to 50 and get to 60. I have a dealer that just crossed 82% he's at for the year, not for like last week, for the year through September. And that's impressive. And so I know that it's doable, and we have a number of dealers in the 60s. And so, I think that we could set our goals, too low and be satisfied with 35 or 42. So I want to set them high and go get after it. And you know, that's kind of my thought. And so people do. They tell me I'm crazy, but and it's probably true. But I do think it's possible. So, but I always want to go, because what if I only end up at 68%? How bad is that, right? So, but I'm going to always keep going for that target. And you know, maybe every once in a while in a month I'll hit it. So
that's good advice. I think setting the goals high is always a good idea. And a little bit off of that, what are your thoughts on menu selling? Are you a proponent of menu selling on these products?
yeah, I really am. I think that we are financial experts when it comes to this part of the world, right? We are we call ourselves finance managers, but we're literally experts. And I believe that if we do a really good job with our customers, we earn the right to make recommendations about what I call packages, product packages. You know, based on our conversation, these are the most important things that I think you should take advantage of. I can say that if I actually had a conversation with the customer and they told me about their travel plans, their boat usage, their budget, and it's okay to make recommendations. I think sometimes we get into compliance handcuffs. Well, I can't do that. Yes, you can. It's really okay. We want to make sure that we disclose everything, of course. But it's okay to make recommendations. So yeah, I'm a real big proponent of putting a menu together and making recommendations on the menu. And I like packaging, products, so ownership packages for the customers. So I think we can do that. I think it's okay to be flexible and to be an advocate for the customer. And I think you can do that. If they feel that you're an advocate, they will take your advice, and you'll end up. That's how we get another, 2%, 5%, 10%. That's how that goes. Is I make recommendations and they say yes, and then you go, wow, cool. It's kind of fun. You can't ever sell anything you don't offer, right? So,
exactly.
But you got to give them a reason. You got to give them a reason. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of menus. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, I like the menu selling as well. As you know, Dealer Profit works remotely, which I think presents unique challenges for. There are remote menu products coming out now, but it's been a challenge. And it's one of the reasons why I will always tell dealers, if you have good in-house finance, you should outperform remote finance, because you can actually have that interaction and you can spin a menu around and you can sit there with the customer and you can talk to them about those benefits of the packages. And I think that makes a huge difference in how customers feel about the whole experience.
Yeah, I agree. And when you're in person, I love to go, hey, show me the boat you bought, and go sit in the boat and talk about service contract. Again, people think I'm a little bit weird, but that kind of stuff not only breaks up your day, so you're not given the same presentation over and over again, but it actually ties you to the customer and to they made a decision to buy a $72,000 boat. I want to know why they bought this boat. I was like, and I want to put them in it. And so we'll get on the water, virtually or whatever. But man, it's really great to be able to connect with them like that. When you can do that, it makes all the difference. So yeah, I think in-person selling does have an advantage over the phone. But what you do, and you guys do it really, really well, is you're able to paint pictures for them in an environment like this. And I think it takes some more energy, but it's really helpful. And I think, again, it's all about getting massive amounts of benefits out to them and helping them see the value through the phone or through the camera, whatever.
Sure, no, that's right. And that is true. I mean, whether it's face to face or remote, I mean, painting that picture and having the customer be there in the space where you want them is really, that's what moves customers. Ultimately, that's what moves customers is their emotional connection. Because again, like we said at the beginning, this is a lifestyle purchase. They're envisioning their new lifestyle.
It's true.
All right, well, so I'll give you a few minutes here to actually wax poetic about Protective itself and the Protective products and the training and what's available and maybe what are some of the things that you think dealers are some of what Protective offers that's most often overlooked by dealers.
Yeah, thanks. I think on the product side, we're talking about marine and RV. Like I said, we FPC is a company that Protective acquired 25 years ago, and they were already in the business for 15, 18 years at that point. And so we've been in the marine space for a long time. And knowing that, we know the nuances of the product, what's important to the customer, and the way that we position the product is to make sure that when a customer has an issue, it's going to get taken care of. And that, I think that's one of the things that sets us apart and makes us really kind of, easy to do business with. And with the RV space, we've been the exclusively endorsed service contract provider since 1992. That's 28 years. And I think the only way you maintain that is you do two things really well. You take care of RV customers, and you are a good partner with RV dealers. And as you know, in both of these markets, customers talk a lot about their experience at the dealership. What was it like? What's to do business with this store, that store? Because there's a lot of choices. And so, if you have an issue, you have a problem, something breaks, if it gets taken care of, you're a lot more like, I had it, but they took care of it and it didn't cost me anything or small deductible or whatever. It really does make a difference. And I think, the benefit packages that come with our products really do set us apart as well in both of these marine and RV industries. In terms of training, we have a very robust online training presence where we have, I think it's 140 different webinars, and some of those, and they're by category. We have some that are auto, but we have marine, power sports, and RV as well. And some of that's product, some of it's finance training, some of it's customer service training. So all of that is online and available through our web portal. And then we do a lot of, we're doing a lot of in-person workshop kind of things where we bring multiple dealers together in, what seems like 100 years ago. We could have, get in a hotel room and get the best of the best from different finance managers. And that was really great. I remember I did one in Florida last year. We had 23 different dealers represented there, and that was an absolute ball. We were together for a couple of days. Now we're doing this. I'm really hopeful that we'll get back to doing some, and we are. We're doing some now as things, I don't know, dare I say, lighten up a little. Where I get to go into, I'm going into a group where they're bringing in their people, and of course everybody's all distanced and all of that, and so. I love doing that, and I've done literally thousands of seminars. So it's very much fun. So I think from a training perspective, we do online, we'll do these webinars, and then we'll do in person in groups and also in the dealership. And I think that combination gives a dealer the very best chance for success. And we partner with a lot of people around the country that help us with that too. So I think those are the kinds of things why we've been doing this as long as we have, and why we're, frankly, doing business with a lot of the top 100 dealers, the top 50 dealers in RV, and it just, we try to do what we do with excellence, and like I said, take care of our dealer partners and their customers. So.
you do a good job at it. Is there something that you think dealers don't really think about or know about that they're kind of missing or not taking as much advantage of from a protective offering point of view?
I think one of the things that doesn't get talked a lot about, even in a forum like this, is we're talking to dealership owners, is participation programs. So when we set up a dealer and they perform really well, there's an element of insurance that's called underwriting profit. It's the amount of money that's left over in the insurance company after you pay claims. And with our dealer partners, they participate with that, and it becomes a very nice little piece. We've paid millions of dollars to dealers on those programs, and there's various programs depending on the size of the dealer and those type of things, which can be another workshop. But yeah, I think that actually looking at that as another revenue source is really important.
I think that's a great piece of advice. More and more of the dealers that we're talking to and working with these days are looking at those programs, and it does become another really nice revenue stream.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, Paul, I've really enjoyed this. You are the expert when it comes to all things protective product, and I appreciate you taking your time and sharing your insights with us today. It's been great.
Hey, you're welcome. Thanks, Merle. It's really great to partner with you, and anything we can do to lift the industry right now, I think is really important. We have more first-time buyers coming in than we've had in a long time. It's a fun time. It's a strange time, but a good time to be in our business.
It is. And who would have thought at the beginning of March we'd be saying that right now?
Somebody said, who would have thought a pandemic would be a boost to the recreational products world? Here we are, because we can buy a boat, we can buy an RV, and we can keep our environment clean, and we can go on vacation on the lake instead of to Europe or whatever, right?
That's right. I did an interview with John Heyman, who is the president of the National Marine Lenders Association and vice president of Medallion Bank, and he refers to it as the staycation phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
Driving
Very
on.
much that. We're going to invest here because we might have to do this for a few years. We may not be able to get on airplanes and go on vacation. So,
right.
So good stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for the time. It's been great.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Paul.
You're welcome.
So there you have what an expert in this industry sounds like. So the takeaways from all of this: protective products will make your profit, and it's the people matter. They need to be excited, committed. You have to have the products available, and you have to know the products, and you have to be enthusiastic and sell with stories. And then as management, you need to teach the process, and you need to commit to the process 100% and make sure that everyone on your team is fully committed. So let's see, do we have any questions? So one question that I've been asked a lot is, and we're getting a little short on time, so people are concerned that selling protective products will slow down or stop a sale. And again, if you follow the process, if you are enthusiastic about how these products enhance and protect a lifestyle, they will never stop a sale. And it also goes back to some of what we talk about all the time in the Hippocratic Oath of F&I, which is first, do no harm. So you're never going to cost a sale. Another question that did come in: aren't there rules about how much can be added on a finance deal for back-end products? And the answer is yes, there are. I mean, it can be anywhere from 20% to 30%, depending on the lender. Um, we rarely, because the products will fluctuate and the expense will fluctuate along with the unit prices, we rarely find these rules to be inhibitive. And I guess we've got time, yeah, for just one more. What are the preferred bundles? Well, I mean, obviously, if you can bundle four things, if you can bundle an engine warranty, accessory warranty, interior exterior protection, and gap, then that's fantastic. And you should strive for that, and you should work out your pricing so that you can do that in a way that maximizes both your profit and the affordability of those products. Now, let me say this, gap should be offered all the time if less than 20% is being put down, because it's an important product, especially for the lifestyle. Interior exterior protection sold right carries great profit. So these are things to keep in mind. And it depends on the nature of the products you're offering, but I would have prepared and in mind, small, medium, and large packages, and then be prepared to move to an a la carte kind of offering. So, protective products, where are the profits made? Ensure your team has the right people, the product knowledge, and a winning process. Commit to this profit through the products, and your bottom line is absolutely going to appreciate you for it. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. We've moved this next one to Thursday the 19th because of the Elevate Summit. So Thursday the 19th at 1:30. And we'll be talking about compliance and compliance counts. Our expert is Rob Miller. He's the owner at Cyclone Agency, and he's also a compliance trainer. So I'm looking forward to that. And for those of you, we'll be sending out some announcements, but we will this Friday be launching a more in-depth series of compliance webinars. So shoot me an email, find out a little more about that, and we'll see you on the 19th. Thanks very much for your time today. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see